Hey, BookTube Sean here. I'm going to do my December wrap-up in this video. This should be a relatively quick video, which is rare for me, but I didn't get a lot read this. I mean, I got a fair amount. I got an average amount read for me, actually, but one of them is a graphic novel, so it'll be quick to talk about. But yeah, I got 4 books read this month. There's only a few more days left in the month. I'm not going to get anything else read, and if I do, I'll cover it next month. Anyway, let's get into it. First book I read is Adulthood is a Myth by Sarah Anderson. This is the first volume of her collection of her Sarah Scribbles comics. You've probably seen them all over Facebook and Twitter. I'm sure you probably know what I'm talking about. But this is just the first volume of the collection of them, and I really enjoy those comics. So I was happy to read a collection of them, and I'm going to continue on with the subsequent volumes and get as many of them read as I can because I really enjoy it. Second book that I read was Home Fire by Camilla Shamsi, and I loved this book. I really loved this book. It was nominated for Man Booker. It is currently in the running for Best Novel of the Casa Awards, which that'll be announced January 2nd. And I get why. It took about 60 pages for it to hook me, but once it did, I just couldn't put it down. This book is about a Muslim family in England, excuse me, whose the son of the family has gone off and followed his father's jihadist footsteps. And it is about how it affects the sisters and also how it ends up affecting a politician and his son. And it's told through multiple perspectives. It's told through, I think 5 different characters' perspectives. And it's not like you repeat parts of the story just from a different character's perspective. It's just one continuous arc, each part told from a different character's perspective. And I've heard after I read it that it's an Antigone retelling, and I don't really know the story of Antigone, so I can't tell you how faithful a retelling it is of the Antigone story. If anybody's read both this and knows Antigone, maybe you can tell me in the comments how faithful representation it is of that. But I will say that not knowing the Antigone story isn't going to affect your enjoyment of this book at all, because I didn't even know it was an Antigone retelling, and I absolutely loved this book. So definitely check out Home Fire by Camilla Shamsi. Next book I read was Kin by Keelan Patrick Burke. And this was a buddy read with Rachel at the Shades of Orange, Stephanie at That's What She Read, Julie at A Girl in a Book, and Mark at The Book Pit. And I will link all their channels in the description box below. But this is a horror novel that Rachel wanted to read with some of her horror friends, so we all jumped on it. And I had issues with this book. And we kind of went the spectrum. Nobody really loved it, but Mark hated it. Most people were kind of lukewarm about it. I think Stephanie found a little bit more merit in it than the rest of us did. But yeah, I definitely had issues with this book. For the most part, it has nothing to do with his writing. He actually does have some writing chops. And I'm interested to read more from him, even though I didn't necessarily enjoy this book, because I see the potential in him as a writer. But with this book, there are character perspectives that are not needed. They're actually the wrong character perspectives. There's a part of the story that should be being told from an entirely different character's perspective, and it's not being told from that character's perspective. It's being told from an unnecessary character perspective. I'm not saying the character was unnecessary, just the story being told from her perspective was unnecessary. But this book picks up like at the aftermath of a. It's almost kind of like picks up at the end of a normal horror movie. Backwoods cannibal family has been hunting people for years and eating them. The book starts with a girl who has gotten away. And a good portion of the book is really more the psychological aftermath of that, and how it affects her, how it affects the families of the victims that were her friends that all died. And there is some gruesome body horror, absolutely, but I struggle with calling this a horror novel. There are horror aspects to it, but I said this to them too, that I struggle with calling it a horror novel. But I'm interested to read more from him, just because I see his potential as a writer. Like I said, he's got some writing chops. But this book just really didn't do it for me. Anyway, the final book I read, I actually just finished a couple days ago, and actually read about 230 pages of it the other day. I was about 60 pages into it and just had an entire day free to read, which never happens. But I had the day off work. My wife was working from home, so she was basically at work all day, even though she was sitting on the couch next to me, but she was working. So I cracked open a book and I read all day, and then she went to a caroling gig that she had at night, and I continued to read. So I had a very rare day to just read. And the book I ended up finishing that day was Maisie Dobbs by Jacqueline Winspear. This is a historical fiction mystery. And the mystery is actually the lesser part of this one. This book really sets up the character of Maisie Dobbs, and I loved it. This was on my Books I Think I'll Love video, too. So, and I'll link that video below. And I did end up loving it, so I'm kind of 2 for 2 so far on the Books I Think I'll Love video. But yeah, most of the book is about Maisie Dobbs and how she got to where she's at as a private investigator. So the mystery part of the book kind of is in the beginning and the end of the book. It kind of bookends it, but the middle part and the bulk of the book is really delves into her character and how she got where she is, which does end up important to the mystery. So really, for a while, I thought, okay, so this book isn't going to really be a mystery. It's just going to be more setup of the character for the following books. No, but the setup did end up being valid to the overall mystery. So the 150 or more pages of this book that is her backstory. The book wouldn't be right without it, honestly. So I love this. So I'm really excited to get on further in this series. But that's it. That's the books I read in December. And looking at my time, I'm under 10 minutes right now. So that, I don't know if I've ever done that. Anyway, what did you read this month? You enjoy your reads? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you've read anything that I read this month. Once again, thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you all in my next video.